But if you're wandering or wondering if God's calling you to be a part of it, then I want you to listen up, because I'm about to cast some vision. And I want you to think about being a part of something like this. Now, as I've mentioned, Calvary Chapel will be our mother church. We'll be part of the CGN, the Calvary Global Network. Now, you might be asking some questions, and I'm going to answer questions about the church plant. Like, what will be the name of the church? What will be the launch team? Where will the church be located? When will the church launch? What's the nature of a launch team? What would we expect from you? Where do we go from here? I'm going to start answering some of these questions for you. Starting with, first, what's the name of the church that we are going to plant? Well, as I mentioned, we're going to be a Calvary Chapel church, but I'm going to let my beautiful bride reveal the name. What are we going to call this church, honey?
Wait, we didn't discuss it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I had a heart attack right here. Come on now.
It's going to be called Image Church.
That's right.
Image. And Bobby's going to unpack that beautifully and tell you why Image. And I love the name for so many reasons. But
yeah, I love the church too. So Image Church, I've always loved the thought of Imago Dei, image of God. It's a Latin phrase. It means image of God. And I've thought about that phrase a lot. And I have a buddy here, Mike Chaddock, who pastors Image Church in Ladera Ranch. And he comes on the radio show with us. And he just does a phenomenal job. He's a super sharp guy. I love doing radio with Mike when he comes on. And he has Image Church Ladera Ranch. And I just love the simplicity. I thought, I could go with Imago Dei, but I was like, I think Image Church fits better. And I just told him, I said, dude, I like how clean that sounds. Mm-hmm. And so behind that, it's the story of the Bible, right? Creation, fall, redemption, restoration. We're created in the image of God, Genesis 1:26. Then the fall happens. And when the fall happens, the image of God, it's not erased, but it is defaced, right? And we can see that the image of God is still there in Genesis 9:6. So you have created in God's image, then the fall, but then you have redemption. And Jesus comes in, and he is the image of the invisible God. And he perfectly fulfills the law that we all broke. And so he's our moral exemplar. We strive to be like Christ. He's images for us, how we're to live our life. And so then ultimately restoration and glorification, we are going to be the image bearers that we are originally meant to be. And so I'm super stoked about that. 2 Corinthians 3:18 says, and we all with unveiled face, beholding the glory of God, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. So image, here's what I love about the name, and so does my bride. We all have shadows. We all have weaknesses. We're all cracked pots. We're all weak vessels. We're all flawed, shot through. We all desperately need grace. In our weakness, he is strong, right? Weak is the new strong. It's the greatness of weakness. God lets his light shine through our cracked pots. But here's the deal. And when it comes to our issues in life, it comes because we don't understand our identity. And we don't understand our identity because we don't realize we're created in the Imago Dei, in the image of God. And so what ends up happening in our culture tries to find their identity in their ethnicity, their race, right? And what does that do? That just causes racism. People try to find their identity in their sexual preferences. And that's huge today. The sexual preferences, gender preferences, all this stuff. People try to find their identity in their money, in their power, in their looks, in their status. And what we want to say is, you are always going to be empty. You are always going to be restless. You are always going to be insecure. You're always going to be unfulfilled. And that goes for all of us, because there's not a single person that can listen right now that doesn't have identity issues. We all do. Yes. But our true ID is in Jesus Christ. And our true idea is realizing we are created in the Imago Dei. Anything you want to say about that? Because I know you get fired up about the name too.
Yeah, no, not really. Other than I just feel like it's, we both just resonated with it. And I just think there's so much we can do with that name, because if we don't know who we are in Christ, then nothing else matters. You have to know who you are in him before anything else. So we're just so pumped about the name, and
Absolutely.
We have so many creative things coming up with it, but that's the fun part.
Yeah, that is the fun part.
If this video clip piqued your interest in Bobby and Heather's new adventure, please subscribe to stay up to date. You can also watch the entire announcement by clicking here. Finally, if you want to stay in the loop via email, follow the link in the description to add yourself to the email list.